Hi everyone, it's Chris with A Bells, and all is well. Hope you're doing okay on this Thursday. Um, Coming back slowly but surely in the swing of things. Again, thanks to everyone who was reaching out, checking in on me. I appreciate the support as always. So where we left off last in our last episode, um, we were talking about. I was talking to you about how the inventory was kind of slowing down, and that historically summer months, because everyone's taking their watch on vacation, that the inventories can go down and they dip down. I can tell you right now, for me, now that it's beginning fall, we're in the swing of the holidays almost. Um, it's starting to pick up. Now, that doesn't mean that I have 1,000 watches coming in. A lot of volume for me is maybe 4 or 5 watches that are high end watches that are, for me as a small time dealer, I like to keep my overhead low so that people, can pass on savings to people and offer people at, great discounts, and they can, I can turn and burn. Some of these other dealers, they're volume dealers. So they have, cases full of watches that they sell. So for me to have 4 or 5 watches that are available for sale are great. And, I've kind of built a niche of like where I'm at. There's like Grand Seiko, high end Seikos, Tudors, Omegas, those types of watches, and those relationships I brokered with dealers have allowed me to really kind of step into that niche very comfortably. But this latest pickup was a little bit scary for me. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but it was too good of a deal to pass up, and I really want to stretch my wings a little bit to try and get a little bit more exposure or widen my audience, so I'm not so maybe pigeonholed. Now, for those of us in Watch Talk, we know Zenith. Maybe outside of Watch Talk, or anybody who's not in the watch community may not be as familiar with Zenith, but we know from Zenith, especially from their relationship with Rolex. And if you don't know, they had a deal with Rolex where they were providing the chronograph movement for the early Rolex or many of the Rolex Daytonas. So, in fact, to this day, those Daytonas are called Zenith Daytonas. So, really interesting sort of setup before Rolex had their own real in-house movement, or chronograph movement, I should say. Now, don't freak out. I don't have a Zenith Rolex Daytona. Daytonas right now are they're just astronomical. And it's, again, because I like to pass savings on, I can't get those for cheap, and I don't have the capital to get enough of a discount to make it worth anybody's worthwhile. So if you're in the market for a Zenith, go retail. Oh, I'm sorry, for a Daytona, go retail. If you can, we own all that story. But this one is kind of, like I said, spreading my rings a little bit. It's kind of scary because I don't know how it's going to do, but it was such a good deal. And I thought it was such a great looking watch, and it fit with my personal brand, A Bells, being a veteran, sort of the Thule military type watches that I like to stock and sell, kind of fit my customer base, if you will. So I took off the background because it was kind of messing with the watch, but I wanted to show you all. This is a Zenith Pilot, and it was from 2018. It's called their Pilot Ton Up, and it's a chronograph, has El Primero movement. It's in this stainless steel, but aged, antiqued stainless steel. All the hallmarks of a typical pilot's watch. And if you watch my series on pilot's watches, this, you know, big hands. These cathedral hands are awesome on this watch, though. Big numerals, the big crown. If you're familiar with IWC and the IWC pilot type watches, again, this watch has all the hallmarks of a typical pilot. Not for the faint of heart. It's about a 45 millimeter dome crest, very slightly domed uh, sapphire crystal. It has this cool motorcycle. It's a racing type motif in the back, and you can kind of see there. Um, Aged leather. Again, all the titanium pin buckle with the little Zenith star on there. Great looking watch. Very classic looking. Again, it has all the hallmarks of the typical pilot's watch. Plus, it's a chronograph with the El Primero movement. It's a great looking watch. And something you don't see a lot of. There's not a lot of these out there. And from being 2018, this was a true safe queen. You can tell a safe queen's never been used much, because really this arch, this bend in the leathers from the cushion case that it sat on, um, in the case, while being in the, it's not a scratch on it. Again, definitely good looking watch. out of my comfort zone a little bit. I'm going to start um, putting it on my website and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's a beautiful watch, and what I try to do is find stuff that I like that's unique. This is unique enough. I really liked it. If I wanted this watch, I could keep it, but that wouldn't be me. That could be every watch that I've sourced or bought and sold. So, but anyway, I thought I'd share that with y'all. If you know anyone who's interested in something like this, I have a really good price. It's, like I said, there's a few out there that are priced really high. Mine is not priced that high, trust me. But anyway, if you know anyone interested in like that, if you know, look more about Zenith, let me know. Um, and I appreciate you all, as always. I appreciate the community. I appreciate everyone that's on here, that's supporting me and helping me out. And again, I give referral fees. Don't forget that. Don't forget that I give referral fees. So if you refer business to me and someone buys something, or you refer somebody over to me and they mention your name, um, and give me your email and all that kind of stuff, I will reward you handsomely. I'm not above, bribing people to help me sell stuff. Anyway, take care of yourself, and then I'll be back again soon. Take care. Bye.